Okay.
It always makes you cry.
He made my punch list.
And that was our first fight. Time is a flat circle.
Like 2 people are gonna get this.
Ooh. Love kale.
Ew. I want him to crawl to me.
Now that was spicy.
Your Honor, I love him.
Gross. Why choose means you don't choose.
I want a third act breakup because I want him to grovel.
There are exceptions to every rule.
Trust me, I'm a father. Don't worry, Daddy's got you. Welcome back to Chapter 5 of the Smut Daddy Podcast. Woohoo!
Hello. Welcome back.
Hi. For you guys, it's been 10 seconds, and for us, it's been like 2 weeks since like launch date. We've just been taking some time. We were pre-filming and taking a minute, and so now we're back. It's spooky season.
It is spooky
And I'm your
season.
host, Father Lib.
And I'm your co-host, Sister Britt, and we're just 2 besties that found each other on Bookstagram, and we're here to chat, and you're going to join us, so welcome.
I just feel like we're all out of sorts, but we're not.
Yeah.
But we
it's
are.
fine. We're just going to keep on rolling.
If everyone's like, what is going on with you two today? I don't know. I don't know what.
We're fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. We're still in toddler demonhood. I think a lot of people were resonating with that talk that we had like 2 weeks ago now, but like it just came out. If you can piece that all together. So we're still there, thriving clearly. I mean, look at me. No makeup. I'm exhausted. What's going on? Everything's great.
Everything's fine and great, and
Everything's great.
I think I showered 2 days ago. Who knows?
I actually showered today.
Oh, that's impressive. I'm proud of you.
I know.
I did not.
Thank-
And hence
thank
I
you,
look
thank
like
you,
this. Guys,
thank-
for those not looking at me right now, I have my hair in a ponytail and zero makeup on. So you're welcome.
I had zero makeup on, bags under my eyes, and I don't even know what's going on with my hair. Don't look at it. Literally don't look at it.
I also think that I'm feeling a little like discombobulated because I'm feeling a little that it's like wrong, but it's just like my 5-year-old. This thing now at bedtime, I have to sit in his room until he falls asleep, and he wants to play the I have to still go potty game, even though we already went potty, and I'm just like, games are happening tonight. I'm like, I don't have time for this child.
Actually, you need to go to bed, sir.
Yes, please go to sleep. When's that melatonin gonna start working? Like,
You're like, hello?
Why are you still talking? You should
What
be
is
asleep
going
right
on?
now.
Mine is 2, obviously, and I look at him sometimes and I'm just like, you will go to sleep. Nothing in return.
Joke's
Nothing.
on you.
Yeah, nothing in return. A blank stare back or a giggle, and then he's still talking to himself or crying in the crib like a half hour later. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
You're doing great with the gentle
Everything
parenting.
is wonderful.
Everything's going so well. And then they're like, oh, you should probably start trying to take the binky away. Don't. Literally, I need some sanity. And I know it has to happen, but
I know
like,
it's not the best thing to say in this
Sanity.
season. I'm just like, choose your battles. Like,
I know, that's what I'm doing. I'm like, for a little bit until I'm feeling a little bit better in my season of life. I'm sorry, he's gonna have the binky for a little longer because I need any reprieve I can
he
get.
won't have
the
it
binky.
forever. It's
No.
a season of life. It is what it is.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I'm going with it. I'm like, oh, we're picking our battles, and that is not it.
I hear ya. Those parenting expectations, they really do change once you're in it, so.
I know. Not even that things have really changed that much in opinions, but I'm just like, this is just what I didn't think about, I don't think ever. And then I'm just like, okay, here we are. So, in our craziness of not filming for the past 2 weeks, what you been reading? What's going on in your little reading journey world?
Reading has been filled with arcs upon arcs upon arcs.
Welcome to ARC-ageddon.
Yeah.
Only getting worse because we're going into Apocalypse October of ARC doom disaster.
Yes, I am really looking forward to November when I have one.
There's not shit going on. I know. I'm like, everyone's like, are you prepping? Yeah, I'm prepping to do nothing. I'm not
looking forward to reading actual books that I want to. My
Comfort
TBR,
reads.
comfort reads, rereads. Like, yes. So
We are in comfort read city over here for November.
yes, we have November to look forward to, but October's going to be a little rough until then. But so for the past couple of weeks, like I said, I've been reading arcs left and right. Some of the ones that I have really enjoyed were A Twisted Arrangement by Jay Wilder, Still by Eva Simmons, Wolf by Paisley Hope. I actually just finished a /ARC read because I beta read Bull Rush, and then I reread it as my ARC because I loved it that much. It's probably going to be my top read of the year, so I wanted to revisit.
Wow!
Yeah.
That's so exciting!
I wanted to revisit Ramsey and Hazel, so I was pumped.
That is so exciting. Wow, this is the first time you've said any type of title for your favorite read of the year to me.
Yeah, no,
I mean, I know we're getting closer to the end, but I feel like I like
closer. I haven't been saying much. Yes, you keep track of your top 8, and I'm just kind of like, we're just going to see how the whole year pans out and like look back, you know. And sometimes I feel like the longer you sit on a book, the more feelings that come out, and you
absolutely. I feel like a lot of times with the feelings though, when I sit on it, it makes me like the book less.
Yes, I've had to go
a lot
ways.
More than I feel like.
But,
I feel like if I'm like, oh, I love it, like I'm reading it and loving it. I'm not normally sitting on it and then like, oh, you know what? Normally I'm sitting on it and I'm like, you fucking know what? I think I'm a little more angry than I thought.
Nope, I loved this entire journey of me kind of going a little bit darker. So I'm here for it, and I'm excited for where she's going to go in her world. But her world is so cool because it's all connected.
Yeah.
And
I know that because I did start and then you tell me about it.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Which I think is honestly really cool because I do like when there's a one-liner, even if it's a one line, which I know she does more than that, but I'm just like, oh, and there's a tie to like this little world that we existed in. I think that's so cool.
Right. Well, not only did this spin off from her Queen City Chaos series that you started before the Chaos Rival Hearts and Mind to Gain, and we get to see those characters again, but it also ties in to her Why Choose series, which was actually my very first read by her, which was Lords of Misrule. And Thick as Thieves comes up here in December, but Charlotte and Hudson are mentioned at the end of Bull Rush. And so it's mind-boggling to me how these authors can come up with all of these new avenues and stories to pursue. Like, she introduced a lot of characters in this new series that she can just run away with, but they're still all connected. I'm like, it's mind-boggling how much thought has to go into this, and the little, as you said, like threads that are weaved in there. They're not huge things, you know, but you just...
Yeah, it's like, it's always, when there are bigger threads, I feel like we obviously love them, but I feel like it's the ones where if you are just picking that book up for the first time, you probably aren't thinking about it, but it's not adding or taking anything away from the story. But then if you're like an avid follower of the author and you read that little line, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we tied it back to like whatever 5 years ago, and I think that is where I'm like, you guys are awesome. Like, how did you even think of that?
This is where my brain does not function.
Except I will too. My horn just a tiny little bit, and I'm going to be vague because it's not anything for me to tell. But I think I was telling you though, or maybe I was telling Mr. Smut Daddy. I can't remember. You two are the only two I'm talking to constantly, so I probably told both of you. But I was like DMing an author, and I was like, "Hey, like, is this little town they go to your next spinoff like series?" And the author was like, "It is now," and I was like, oh, "I did it. I made the detail. I don't know how the one line is coming, but I think that's so cool.
So awesome. I love it. I love it so much."
We're obviously, if you guys can't tell, we're big on the details. We're the detail queens when it comes to books. We will find them and point them out, whether
the continuity errors,
they're right or wrong. Yeah. Britt is like your girl.
I'm like
for that.
Big about like hand placements and things like that. So
Britt picks up on these things.
Those are the things
too,
I do
because
pick up on. Yes,
I missed that
it's not
one.
Ringing a bell.
I missed that one. I remember, and then you were like, "So how is her hat on again?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "See here," and then it says right here. And I was like,
"Yep."
Oh, a detail queen.
we take those pictures and then we email the authors and we're like, this needs to be fixed.
Politely, before anyone gets any ideas.
Very politely,
always politely. Always.
Actually, speaking
Sorry,
of
I cut you off,
authors and
random
stuff,
tangent.
That's fine. No, it's kind of going in, it goes into my tangent. I like how Jessa J. Wilder, how she, at the beginning of her arcs, she does a competition for all her arc readers, and she puts it very in the beginning of her arcs, like, there's a competition, email me all the, like, continuity issues, spelling errors, typos, and then
You've
she
told
does
me
a
this
random
before.
drawing, and I'm just like...
And I remembered seeing it when I did the first book.
Yeah, so
to
she's
this
like
one.
inviting you to do it and providing you
Which
the email.
is
You're not
cool.
having to slide into her DM. She's providing you an email address, which I think is nicer than just nothing, because it's just a motivation for us to do a giveaway. Helps her write the best book, and I always just get excited.
Honestly,
not that
like,
I want to find errors, but I'm just like,
no, but big on
found
her
something.
too, because
Yeah.
I feel like it does take a certain kind of like hard shell in a good way to be like, I'm inviting it. Like, let's just make it. We know what's gonna happen, so like, winner to you if you find it, but like, good for her for
There's
like
been
coming
so many
to that
eyes,
conclusion.
But like, yes, if you see something, let me know, and here's how you can reach me to let me know. And it's just, I just take screenshots and send them over after I'm done.
I think that's so nice. I think a lot of authors, I mean, I know not everyone can do a giveaway, but I do think that that is a very nice thing that a lot of authors, maybe indie authors too, if anyone's listening out there, that could be a nice thing to put in the beginning of arcs. Like, just respectfully, like, shoot me an email with or whatever, or my PA, or however they're doing it, and
whoever's monitoring that email,
then they like know, like, then an ARC reader doesn't have to feel weird about it, and then the author doesn't have to like be like, why am I getting what's this random email saying this? Like, they just know. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That would be good.
Yep. I like it. So it works for her, and I like it. But yeah, so her arc that I did was book 2 of the I think it's Twisted Vows series is sometimes I'm terrible at the series names. Yeah, Twisted Vows.
Oh yeah, if I didn't write everything down on this iPad, what are we doing?
So this was Matthias, I think is how it's pronounced. There was like a huge debate in her Facebook group whether it's Matthias or Matthias, but I think someone from nationality of the name was like, it's Matthias, I think is the correct way that we landed on. That's how I've always
seen it. Because another author I just read recently has a character, and it's Matthias.
My brain goes with Matthias more so, but like I've trained it now.
I've never heard it that way. I
do
like it.
Matthias. It's Matthias and Scarlett. So the second brother and Scarlett, we met her in book 1, Attempting Arrangement. I enjoyed revisiting that darker billionaire series that she's doing. And then I did 2
And you got a beautiful special edition. Are we allowed to say that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's so pretty.
I have not seen a special edition like that ever. It's a hardback.
So
the dust jacket is
freaking
beautiful.
pretty.
It's really similar to the paperback, but with a twist on it. But then the actual hardback itself is character art, and there's a quote on it, and the sprayed edges are...
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
What the fuck, Jessa? No, I'm just kidding. I'm like, excuse me, did you not know we're a package? She's like, what the fuck? You didn't even pick it up, the second one. I'm clearly kidding. No, it's gorgeous, beautiful. She did such a good job with it. Whoever designed it or worked, like, 10 out of 10. Love it.
And she wrote a cute little handwritten note on the back of the fan art from a Crystal Cena band.
That's so nice.
Handwritten notes from authors.
I keep them all.
I do too.
Every single one. And random little note, if you ever, which this is not me telling people to do that, but when people send me things off my wish list, I tape in the inside cover their little note that they like sent with it, like from whatever. But just so I know, I always tape it on the inside cover because I'm like, oh, this is now also dedicated to you because you guys are so nice, like whoever sent it.
I do the same thing. And then I was in 2 motorcycle worlds back to back.
Oh, yeah, you were.
Steel and Wolf, and I was a little concerned about it, but it ended up being fine. We're very different. I don't know to really describe the differences, but I feel like Steel is more of a classic what you expect a motorcycle club romance to be, whereas Wolf, I feel like, was very unique, and that's the word that I just kept coming back to was this is a unique book. It's a motorcycle club. It's morally gray hero. FMC was a good girl and people pleaser wanting to make everyone around her happy, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is hitting home.
a little too close to home at sometimes, one may say.
One may say, yes. Turns into that queen, and I loved every second of it. So it was...
I know
Good. Great. Loved it.
What I would say, motorcycle light. Honestly, probably the best introduction series to a motorcycle gang I think there probably ever is right now is Devney Perry's. I literally can't remember what it's called right now, but it starts with Steel King.
I just know that Steel King is the first book.
But
That's
it
all I've
ends with 10 Queen, and that's like the most. It's not dark, but like it's just a little heavier, you know what I mean? But I always tell Britt, like, that is the most, like, Britt and Libby at the same time coded motorcycle book, which doesn't happen very often, but we have a second one now with Wolf, which is crazy. Because we don't all get along in a very harmonious circle all that often, the three of us. I'm normally crawling and fighting my way out because I'm like, this is a boys club and I hate it here.
And I'm like, this is great.
I know. I'm like, please. I'm like at the bars gnawing on them. Like, someone get me into a small town that is not this. But Wolf was, we have another one.
You just said motorcycle gang, and my brain immediately went to Sons of Anarchy and like them reiterating that it's a club. It's a club for motorcycle enthusiasts.
Shut that's what I want to tell those men. Not you. I want to tell those.
Excuse me.
No, I want to tell those men, like, shut up. We all know it's a gang. You're in a gang. Okay.
Tomato, Libby.
I'm laughing. You said you're telling me to shut up? No, Brittany.
Fuck off. In 2 weeks, what is happening to us?
Like, we don't talk every single day, even when we're not recording. Gosh, this episode's crazy. Sorry, folks.
It's past our bedtime, you guys, okay?
It is 9:33 EST time zones.
Oh, do you want to give us an education on time zones, Father?
I don't know what they are. I don't want to know. Don't come into my DMs trying to teach me.
You're an hour ahead of me. I am an hour behind you.
And then Brittany will be like, we're going to meet up in the middle, but it's a different time zone than everyone. I'm like, what? I don't understand.
Which
scheduling authors, and I have to be like, by the way, what time zone are you in? They're probably like, this dumb bitch. I'm like, yeah, you're right. What is it? I don't want to know, actually.
Father Lib has many strengths. Knowing time zones is not one of them.
And I fully admit, what? Arizona or wherever's got it going on. They're just like, they don't exist in this state.
There was like really big movement on getting rid of daylight savings time in the state of Illinois, but then COVID happened and it obviously did not matter anymore. But I'm like, can we bring that back? Like, where's that conversation?
We talk about time zones a lot because that's how much I hate them.
Yes.
And they'll be like, actually, it's this time. No, it's this time and it's this. And I'm just like, someone talk to Brittany.
Just figure it out and let me know when I need to be there.
That's what I say.
Yep.
Anything else you're reading? Sorry. Keep going on tangents. Or what are you currently reading now?
Now, I did just get a beta email today with a Google Drive inviting me to the document for a Christmas novella. And
I was like, what?
This is not for you, Libby. This is an MFM stepfather Christmas novella.
I quit. I quit. You're going to ruin my favorite fucking holiday.
It's going to make my favorite holiday that much better.
Stepdad bullshit. Guys, no family fucking. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, for me. But, so wait, whose stepdad is it? The girls?
I don't know. That's the thing. There's not been much information disclosed about this.
Are they step siblings? I'm sorry if you don't know. I just wasn't sure. Like,
I honestly don't know.
But it would make sense, right? But that would mean that one of that, because then that would be like a Thanksgiving book situation where like the dad is clearly related to one of them then. Fully
I don't think there's any blood relation, anything of that going on.
So it must just be like someone's stepdad, and then there's
Yes.
like a group. Maybe the guys are just like friends or whatever. I'm happy for you.
I don't know.
Let me know how it, I'm not also I'm no I don't even know the author, and it's fine. There's no hate to that. I just let me know how it is. I can tell my mom.
I
can tell my mom.
Jenny
She
know
likes
if she's gonna want this one or not.
she likes to holiday theme read. Oh yeah, if our viewers can't, if you're listening, not watching, I'm a decorator, so I'm a little bit decked out for our spooky breakfast.
I got Hagrid's
later.
hut on, and to be honest, for spooky season, it's got the pumpkins.
I'm here
There's
for
a
it.
scarecrow over there. It works, okay?
Mine's a ghost face that says "Call me," and if I don't know what's more Father Lib coded than that. I hate spooky things, but if it's gonna be anything,
I hate scary
it'll be
things.
this. I don't even think I've seen a Scream all the way through.
Me neither.
But I've seen the Drew Barry like iconic moment.
I've seen it from like clips on the internet.
That's what I mean, like
okay.
TikToks and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I don't do scary.
I don't do
I've
scary.
seen some scary things, obviously, especially because my husband loves scary. But I would say since like 25 on, I didn't like.
I was gonna say, I think the last scary movie I saw was like Grudge or something like that in college.
Stop,
maybe?
and you know that is the one that like triggers me. Ew, stop! Why would you even say that?
I didn't enjoy myself.
And
with
if
it. It
you're
makes you feel
listening,
better.
Kayla, redacted, it is your fault. It is your fault that I'm afraid of it. It is. And I know you're like, no, it is. You and Tyler, those are my siblings, if you're wondering. They're older than me. And so I was like, I can hang. Lies. The grudge terrifies me. I was actually just talking about this on Threads with a stranger. Not like a stranger, but like, I can't remember their handle. And they were like, yeah, it terrified me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
A problem.
In high school, my boyfriend at the time tried to get me to watch the movie It, and I think I lasted about 15 seconds, and I was like, and I'm out. Deuces. We are not watching this.
It's gross, but
No.
I'll be the first to admit I also watched that too young, and I did not shower for like a month because there's like a scene where the water turns to blood. And I was like, if I get in the shower, the clown's gonna be in there and the water's gonna turn to blood. Like, this is all because I wanted to be cool to hang out with my older siblings.
Oh, I didn't care about that. I was like, we're done. We're out.
Well, you're the oldest.
I am, but even it's my friends. I was like, no, I will go home. This is fine. I don't care.
I know. I was always the loser because I was like, I don't do that. I'm not doing those things. Those haunted mazes and houses and nar.
No.
Sorry,
but
I know. We just
besides
keep randomly rambling.
We just keep going randomly. This is how our whole conversations go. So
We're doing good. We're only like
We're
half
doing
hour
great.
in. We're killing it.
but besides my new beta with the MFM stepfather, that we
Yes.
don't know the true relations yet. We'll get into it, and I'll keep you posted.
Stay tuned, folks.
Stay tuned. But I also have, shocker, more ARCs, but the next one I'm diving into is going to be His Greatest Treasure by Hannah Cowan. So
I just got that one just hit my inbox as well.
yes, so I am really excited for that one and to be back into her Greatest Love series, because His Greatest Muse, the book right before this, is one of my all-time favorite, best books, comfort reads, like power couples.
Tiny.
Noah and Tiny, God, I love them so much. They are just the best couple. They are soulmates. They are just pure perfection. I can talk. And I want everyone to read it. You need to read it still.
I know. So if you're like, oh, what do you mean? I am signed up for her Patreon. And so we, as like a perk, you get an ARC of her new ones. And then I was just about to say, her special edition covers for the Patreon that like you buy still, but they're only for the members. Those are gorgeous. And I have bought them so far, all of them, because they're so pretty. I think they're so amazing. I love the character art. I don't know who the artist is, but they're really good.
I'm not sure either, but yeah, they are really good. And I think you'll like them all once you get to it. It won't be out on audio though until January, and I know you're.
I
audio
saw
girl,
that.
But yeah,
I feel like
there are
by the
some
time
issues
like
with that one.
I feel like by the time that I like can get there though, you know what I mean? It'll be January. Yeah. Because I think I'm going to work this in between like comfort reads. Because I think we mentioned it, but like I'm going in Chitog.
Yes.
Starting November.
How about you, Father Lib? What have you been reading since we last filmed? What have been your highlights?
So I have been reading, obviously. Just not as much as normal. I think the last time we checked in or somewhere around there, I was like, I'm in a reading slump and I'm going to get out of it. And I have not. I'm reading good books. That's the thing, is I am reading good books, great books. But then everything else is like, you're kidding. Or it's like, I'm dragging my feet to start the things that end up being great. And that I know it doesn't always have to be like, oh, you pick it up and just go. But every single book, I feel like I'm dragging my feet. And then I'll be like, why? Like, you ended up loving it. Or like, you waited so long and then you just ended up like not liking it. And so I'm just like kind of all over the place. Bye. I did do 2 audiobooks because I got an ALC code for the second one that's coming out. So I like used... one of my credits for the first one, and that series is called the Abbott Brothers series by Everly Ashton, who I did a little deep dive because I was like, who is this author? And then it was like produced by Piper Rayne LLC, and I was like, wait a GD minute. So then I like clicked, and then there was like, Everly Ashton is a pen name, so no wonder I loved it, and it was so good. I love Piper Rayne.
Oh, that's so funny.
I shove her down everyone's throat, especially Brit's. I was like, have you read this, and onto the TBR
they go.
Well, they have such a backlist as well that I honestly, you can't keep up at this point, because I just am like, there's another one. That was really good. The first one was called Rent a Husband, and it's about 3 brothers, the whole, like, the series, and they own a handyman business.
Is this a why choose situation,
No.
Lib? I know it's not.
3 brothers, and they own a handyman business called Rent a Husband, which is honestly the best handyman business name. I would use them. So the first one's really good. It's really cute. I would say like both of them so far have been like a 4, 4.5. So not like, I don't know. I don't really know how my ratings works. You know, we're all about like vibes and things here. So solid and good. I just am like, I think it's the third one, the third brother that I'm like, you're gonna be a 5. I just know it. The first one's really good. It's like she is into town or moved into town or whatever, and she's like fucking around with her shower, and then like it causes a huge leak, explode, like this like gigantic thing, and so she calls, and it's after hours because I take after hours calls, and they're like at a bar, and so like then it's the grumpy brother that shows up, and she's like literally looks like a freaking drowned rat when she opens the door, and like is in a white t-shirt that's soaked and like no bra, and is just like a mess. And then he's rude to her, and then like he goes back to apologize. Right. Then he goes back to apologize, and she's like, it's fine, but like I need like a fake boyfriend. And so it all, I mean,
fake
it sounds
dating,
like
love it.
Fake dating. So it was so good. A lot of like good banter. And they're short, like they're quick. I did both of them. Yeah. I mean, I listen at 2 times speed, but I did both of them in one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great. The second one that's going to come out is called Buy a Boyfriend, which is the youngest brother. Yes, the youngest brother, and that's Travis. Oh my God. And his, honestly, I would say, okay, book 1 was 4. I just realized book 1 is 4. Book 2 is 4.5. And it was so freaking funny. And Britt knows. And if you guys don't know, I love to laugh. Like if you're making me laugh.
Oh yeah.
We're with it. And they have a grandma, and she's like, I need a bachelor for our bachelor auction for the charity, like for the retirement community. And so Travis gets roped into it, but he's like, okay, like you better use my middle name and not tell anyone about me. So he goes by Eddie, and then he gets won by a grandma who actually is giving him away to her granddaughter. They go on a dinner date. They go back to his house. She gets her period. She like literally hightails it out of there because she's embarrassed. They're like in their 30s, but like it all made sense to. So then he's pissed because he's like, what the fuck? Like we were literally about to get it on, and you like ran out of my house, and then she was embarrassed, and then he's like leaves for 2 weeks to go on a camping trip, and when he comes back, she's been hired as the new receptionist, as their job. And then it cuts to a year later. They hate each other. And then it's like a year later. It cuts to them like fighting at the office. So good. That one turns into a secret relationship.
Ooh.
We're good. And then there's going to be obviously the third brother. And he's like dark and mysterious. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I think I'm in love with you.
You're going to be my favorite.
I think I love you. I'm pretty sure I do. I already am in love. No one cares about the other 2. No, they're really good. 10 out of 10. They're obviously on Kindle, but the audio is so good and super quick. And then what else did I do? I read My Favorite Boss by Melanie Moreland, which is workplace, enemies to lovers, a blonde MC that I like and love and go to bat for. And he's a cat daddy. HR is always like walking in on them doing like the funniest shit. It's not even inappropriate half the time. It's just hilarious. And that's a 10 out of 10. HR is literally HR because it's a workplace romance.
Oh, I was like, who the hell is HR?
The cat's name.
What's the cat's name?
Is Hedge. They call him Hedgie or Hedgehog. Adorable.
Okay.
And then I've also been like living, and I'm about to do a reread of Someone You Deserve by Harlow James, which is the second book in the Carrington Cove series. And oh my lordy, we have a problem. My top 8 is screaming at me. Like, what are you going to do?
Is it bumping something?
I don't know yet. I haven't. That's where my list is like screaming. It sounds bad, but I knew this would be a 5-star read, but I was going into it like book 1 is like going to be that girl, like she's the biggest 5-star. And then I read this and I was like, are you actually shitting me with how good this book was? A widow. It's the husband's best friend, but it's forbidden. It's a small town and everyone will talk and kids call him uncle, but it's not, but it's like not weird. It's so good. It's a lot of like angst and tension, but not in like the crying or rage way, but because like they're struggling, like they were married and then that was the best friend and he did not like her in any way, like literally until it was like a month after his best friend died. And was like overseas deployed. And so then they were like, I'm a shitty person. Like we can never, and it's like 5 years then from that moment. Then they're like,
wow.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I loved it. Fucking Christ. It's not better than Crossroads.
Okay.
I don't even.
But it's like up there.
Yes, and like I make my own rules for my top 8, and I'm like, you can't have the same author in there twice. But I'm like, there's no goddamn way you're making me pick between these men. No, I refuse. So we might be amending some rules. Okay? I know no one cares about the rules, but I normally stick to my rules. Harlow, what the fuck are you doing to me?
These authors,
I was in her DMs too. Like, I don't understand what's going on. What do you mean what's going on? And then she said at book 3 perfectly. And I was like, when is it coming?
When do we get that?
Probably not until the spring. Liar. You're lying to me. You mean you already have it wrote and you're going to be sending me the beta tomorrow?
Send it to my email.
This one, when is this episode going to come out? This is out. This just came out on October 4th. Audio, everything, everywhere. And My Favorite Boss is already out as well on audio and stuff. So just so everyone is aware with those. That's what I'm reading. And then I was doing a beta for Luna and it was good. I don't think it's coming out for a while. So I didn't really write too much down about it because I don't know. It's hard with betas, you know? You're like, what should I actually be saying about it? Because some authors are like, hey, don't say anything. Like,
yes, someone
don't add it to your story. Yep. Yeah. And then others are like, I don't care what you say, but I'm still like, well, this is your baby and I don't want to be talking about it too much before you're talking about it. You know what I mean?
When you love it and you want to hype them up, you're like, can I do my thing? Like, give me free reign to shout about this book, please and thank you.
I'm going to be psycho just a little bit. Harlow, sorry, not to go back, but she was an author that slid into my TikTok DMs,
Ooh.
I think, out of all places, and was like, hi, like, I'm writing a book, like, she's wrote multiple books, but she was like, I'm writing A Small Town, which is the first book of Carrington Cove, and she was like, I think that you would really like it, just from, like, everything that I've seen from your page, and so she was obviously 1,000% correct, but what she didn't know was that she was signing up for me to annoy her for all of times, everywhere.
She
Facebook
only has
groups,
herself to blame for this.
Your email for newsletters, DMs everywhere, check threads. She's probably like, girl.
She's like, why did I do that? But she is responsible for her own actions.
Yeah, and stop writing such good fucking Small Town.
But also, like how cool that she like did her research enough on you to know that you would like this book.
I know, because
she was right.
I feel like there are definitely authors who, not that it's a bad thing, but they probably are like, I bet you'd like it. And then like, they're kind of probably copying and pasting, which I'm not saying that's bad. Like, get your book out. Everyone can do their own research on it. But the ones that are like, That was their Harlow and G.A. Mazurk, which are both authors that slid in. They were like, I think that you will like this small town from what I've seen. Nailed it. I'm like, you guys are witches, wizards. What is going on? How? And then I'm like, why do you guys have 100 books for me to backlist? And I've never heard of you until now. Like, I know there's a million authors, but I'm like, what do you mean? I can't even imagine my life before Harlow. There's only been 2 books I've read now.
Now you have so much to do.
Yeah, I used like 6 credits because I always have a million credits. And I was like, I'm going to do the Newberry Spring series from Harlow. So I bought those. And then The Last Devil's Night I bought, which we'll chat about later for my TBR. But I was just like stocking up a little bit. So that's what I've been doing.
I go backwards real quick to mine because I forgot to talk about is one of the lucky ones. I signed up for an ALC and I got a whole series as an ALC instead of the one book. And that would be Starlight Cove by Miss Brighton Walsh.
Brighton Walsh.
So
that's all me, baby.
That's all you, Father Lib. So I was able to get through the first 2 audiobooks, Defiant Heart and Protective Heart, and then I just now skipped to Rebel Heart that comes out. It'll be out by this time this airing.
It came out on the 30th.
On the 30th, yep, September 30th. So
I just finished my
listening to that now. I'll go back.
I guess it's like a reread.
Yeah.
But it's the first time on
but it's the first time
audio. It hit harder for me on audio.
Did it?
Yeah, because
you have a lot of emotional ties to it. I don't think we've talked about it really.
I don't think we either.
Do you want to dive into that?
Yeah, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I love Brighton Walsh. I definitely shove her down people's throats, and I toot my horn in that pyramid scheme forever. I'm like, you better go, Britt. You better run with it. So because I love her so much, and I'm always in her DMs and stalking her, and I feel like I'm fairly open online about my mental health struggles and issues I go through and have dealt with and how much romance has helped me. So Brighton reached out to me and asked if I would do a deep dive, and it was a deep dive. She did such a good job, like knowing what questions to ask and what information to get for her leading man. It's not the girl, actually. It is our leading man, Levi. He is a sensitive guy, and he is struggling, and he has a hard time in life with his brain, and I'm so honored. Like, I think the audio, like, obviously reading it, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But then the audio, I was just like, okay, well, I'm crying for sure. This is hitting a little more close to home. So me and I think 2 other girls, we got to do that, and then it was just so nice. And we're mentioned in the back of the book, which is just cool. It's just like,
it is cool to see your name in the back of books.
Yeah, and I'm so honored that like she number one just like did any research. I mean, I know most authors do, but she did. You can just tell she did so much research on her own to make sure that the questions she were asking were enough, like deep enough
and heartfelt enough, and
but
like,
sensitive
not just
enough,
surface
like
level.
Yes,
yeah.
But like I didn't feel like she was like asking things in a way that I was like, no, you know what I mean? Like I don't think to a technical stranger that I've not met in person that I've ever felt so comfortable being like 100%. Like, this is it. This is all of my truth. Like, this is what I have to give you. And she did such a good job.
She did
with
a great
him
job.
and with that book. And I'm just so honored. I love her. She will be on this podcast.
She will be.
She has anxiety just like us. But I'm like, Brighton, my girl, you have to be on here.
Yes.
I like literally love you. She also has a pretty good backlist. 2 other small town series. Mm-hmm. So all on audio too, so
yeah. So anyway, but that's been
Levi.
really fun to be doing because this is actually
because you eyeball read all of them.
I eyeball read all of them, and this is my first official ALC. I've never signed up for an ALC, and I was like, I'll just shoot my shot.
So
Who cares?
cool.
And I flat out said in that little box at the end, I'm like, I've done an ALC before. I've listened to audiobooks, obviously, but like this is my first official application, and if I don't get chosen, that's okay. And then I got all 6 of them. I'm like, holy shit balls.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So,
love it.
Love it.
My random back note of an ALC is I got approved for Sunlight. by Dabney Perry
Nice.
on audio, and I've been sitting on it, and I know you're like, what, it's only been 2 days, but like that's one where I'm like, I'm a little nervous for it to dethrone Crossroads, because I am not
Do you
sure
think it will?
really good. I don't know, because listen, my random side note that we've had a million times over. I'm good about avoiding spoilers and stuff, and I haven't seen any spoilers, but I have seen like 3 people's 5-star reviews that are like, what in the Crossroads dethroning is going on here? And those are by like 3 people that like I love and know with my whole chest, because this is an accidental pregnancy. And so for them to be like also like, damn, I'm like, absolutely not. What do you mean? What in the West Haven, that's the main character's name in the first book, is going on? I'm just like, what is going on?
I thought it was the town where it took place.
Nope, his name is West Haven. I can't remember the town. Haven
It
Harbor.
does work for
I can't remember.
town name, I feel like.
It does. Isn't that a town name?
I feel like it is, yes.
Isn't that in the Marvel show with Wanda?
TV show about
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
don't
Anyway,
know.
but I'm
Anywho.
really excited. But I'm afraid to start it because I'm like, what do you mean? What's going on? So that's our reading update. That was a long one.
That was a
but-
long update, but we hadn't updated for quite a while. And we even
Yeah.
skipped stuff, you guys, obviously.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd be here for way too
8
long.
hours. So for our main segment today, if you didn't catch it earlier or not watching, is Spooky Recs, Halloween season Recs, things that we classify as spooky Halloween-esque vibes. These are not fantasy Recs, at least for me. Are these fantasy
No.
for you?
Nope.
Okay, that's what I figured. Because fantasy is next week. So stay tuned for next week. All fantasy vibes and all of that. But these are like things that we would pick up that we are like, yep, this is what I would be like. Here's a spooky vibe for me. And this is a more Brit. This is a Sister Britt heavy episode because fantasy is like all me, girl.
Yeah.
It's all me next week. So, I
Yeah.
mean, not alone, but I'll be taking the reins more next
that
week.
Basic fantasy girl and got
And I've been in small
That's
town
it.
land now for so long that I'm like, you got some Rex, right? I have a couple, but
right. So
What's your girl?
first one that I'll talk about is one that I just beta read earlier this summer. And it came out on the 1st, which is Halloween for 6 by Kelly Finley.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about her a couple of weeks ago with Shameless Game with Bo, Blair, and Colton.
avatars.
So Halloween for 6 focuses on 6 people, 3 couples that we got to see in Holiday for 6, which was my very first book by Kelly. And each of the individual couples do have their own books, but in Holiday for 6, they kind of come together and form a grouping of the 6 of them.
Yeah.
But they all are married to one other
Do they
person.
They do share?
They do share.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
that might sound right, but they do.
They do. Yes.
All of them.
All of them.
Okay. I didn't know if they paired off like certainly, like 3 and 3. You know what I mean?
Nope.
I didn't know.
There's no real boundaries or hard lines with them. They're all very together, but they all
I mean,
do have
that's
their
better
spouse.
than-
And she has a phrase in this book that I'm forgetting what it's called. Like they're like not their anchor, but like a something, like their stalwart, like they're one person. Like they have their spouse, but like they have everyone else in the group as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm
so funny?
I'm laughing to myself because my husband has corrupted me and I never watched South Park until I met him. And what you're referring to is they all have their bottom bitch. And then they have the people that they are. But that is why I'm laughing because literally the way you
Lord
described
have
it
mercy.
is when a pimp has their bottom bitch. And then they have everyone else. And that's why I'm giggling. It's because Mr. Smut Daddy is corrupting my brain, not smut
Damn it,
books.
Mr. Smut Daddy. But it's fine. So those 6 go to an island where they have one of the couples is building a house on an island. They're all rich, shocker. And they invite 11 of their friends to come and join them for a week of tricks and treats during Halloween week. And it's spooky, like there's a little thing with like, what's it called? They have a different word for a ghost down in the South. They're in South Carolina where this takes place. A haint or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sure. I'm not sure.
I would have to Google it. But so there's like little like paranormal type into it, but like not like super out there, but a little supernatural. Like, you know, you just kind of sometimes when you feel like someone's watching you and your hair goes up on the back of your neck, like those type of things, you know. But it's spicy. I mean, this is one of those books where it's just meant to be fun and lots of spice. And but there's also a really deep storyline that she put in there, and I was just blown away that she's able to do that. I feel like I'm saying weave a lot or woven. Like she does it such a good job of making like an actual true emotional storyline be plopped into all of this spice and yet still make sense and bring feelings and emotions and joy. And it was a really, really good, fun, spooky book. So that's my number one recommendation this season if you're looking for something really spicy for spooky season. Halloween for 6, Kelly Finley. All right, what do you got, Father Lib?
Okay, so I just want to say, because I feel like people are going to be like, what? You didn't put that much romantic suspense into it. I classify small town romantic suspense as like cozy vibes, not spooky. I know other people might put them, so I feel like they are romantic suspense, but there's really no like small towns, which I feel like people will be like, what? I only had the last book, but the Midnight Manor series, go figure, by P. Rayne, is a pen name of Piper Rayne, if you didn't know. This is so good. I feel like it's not super dark. It's, what did I say last week? It's light gray. It's like a light gray. The last book, this one actually, is the darkest. It's good. They're billionaires, brothers. They live in this huge manor. I mean, that is in like a small town, but you're never really in the town, ever. And each book is a fairy tale retelling of sorts. So book 1 is Beauty and the Beast and an age gap. He's a dom. Book 2 is Shattered Vows, and that's Rapunzel. Enemies to lovers, like he's on a hunt, like he literally goes and tracks her down. That one's pretty good. I would say that one, though, is like number 3 ranked. I don't know. I wanted more from him, that brother, and I feel like he underdelivered. What's going to surprise you is my number 2 is the 3rd book, which is Midnight Whispers, and they're sharing is caring in that one.
What?
And it's good. That one's the darkest of them all, but because she has a stalker, that's a Cinderella retelling. So like she becomes roommate.
Cinderella was my favorite growing up. And if sharing is caring, this is feeling like this is a Brit coded book.
I mean, it's not a why choose, obviously, but there is it is a good sharing is caring moment. I was like,
fine with sharing is caring and not why choose.
Yeah, that one was good. I liked it. It was, I would say, like, the most suspenseful of them all. Oh, because I did forget to get at their manor in the basement of it is it's like a secret society sex club where they do like blood rituals, like blood play, sex, whatever. Like,
I'm all for
so
the
that's like the
blood
underlying
play.
thing. This book though is number 4, the best. Obsidian. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. She's in danger, boss employee. He's kinky, a kinky motherfucker. Like, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, you're awesome, but I was like, you're kinky. Like, I feel like there's a lot of times where I don't just flat out be like, that guy's kinky. Nope, Obsidian is. That's a kinky man, and it's hot, and I love it. And that's a Little Mermaid, which I don't think I've really ever read a Little Mermaid retelling.
I don't think I have either.
It's loose, but when it's good. I think it's a great series to like get you in the mood if you wanted to go darker as the month goes on, or kind of dip your toes in to see like what you like, because they're all like overbearing men. I mean, like the first one is a really good Beauty and the Beast retelling. They live on like a tiny little cottage on the property, and they're over it and all this bullshit, so she's, I'll sign a contract, I'll do anything, like if you let my family stay. But like, he's an asshole, and you say, me, I was like, that one's great, that one's good too. That's good. I think I'm excited to see what they do as further dark. This was like their first series as in like the Darkland. And then when we got to book 4, I was like, you guys need to keep going now. Start like here with book 1 for your next dark series. Because I feel like they're
complete though.
Yep, this is complete.
Okay.
This series is done. It's all on audio as well. They're all out. So, and they're on KU, but they're so good. I'm excited to see where they keep going. I'm not sure what they have planned next because they do write. They're crazy. They
write a lot.
I would think almost that they wouldn't write such good books because they write so much. But they do. They write such great books.
They're able to do quality and quantity, which is not an easy feat.
They have Christmas stuff coming out. You guys, they have like ARCs, ALC, and ARC signups for Christmas stuff that they have coming out right now. And go fall in love with them like I do because they're awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I'm like, that's everything for that one.
Okay. For my next one?
Absolutely. If you're ready.
Yeah. It's a classic suggestion, and it's right over my left shoulder here, and that would be the Devil's Night series. The Devil's Night series that I love by Penelope Douglas. You're doing it this year, right?
I am. I was going to do it last year, but things really did get a little kind of crazy. And I don't know, I waited too long, and then our trip was awesome, obviously. But I don't know. Things just got moved around so quickly for me.
Yeah.
But I got them all. And they put the last one, or the novella, not to like still talking about it, but they put that one finally on for free.
Nice. Okay, good.
So I was able to grab it.
Yeah, there are 4 main books and 2 novellas. I recently saw someone say that they were going to start the Devil's Night series, and they posted a graphic, and there were only the 4 main books. So I was like...
You're like, ooh, where's the 2?
Do you know about Conclave and Fire Night? And they didn't. And so that's
Do you know about the Muffin Man?
Yeah, right? Oh, that's perfect. But so that's kind of what inspired me to make a post about series
you are
that
my
I love
little
with their
novella
novellas.
queen.
Because I was like, oh my God, you would be so lost if you didn't read Conclave between Killswitch and Nightfall. Like, it's imperative to the story to know. So I was like, oh, we need people to know. So, but book 1 is Corrupt. Michael and Rika. Book 2 is Hideaway with Kai and Banks. Book 3 is my favorite, which is Damon Torrance, top 10 book boyfriend, and Winter. And then the last story is about Will and Emery, who I can't fucking stand. She's the worst, and he deserves so much better. What I'll say about that.
Your favorite is the fountain tattoo?
Yes. I have a not very large, a decent sized tattoo on my right rib cage that is a fountain, and that is from Killswitch.
Are you proud of me for that?
I am very proud of you for that. Not to like tell the whole story, but Damon and Winter meet when they're children, and he has a rough home life, and under a fountain is where he feels his safest and where he goes to escape and be by himself and be safe. And she joins him under there, and it kind of made me, I try and tie in any tattoo that I get to, obviously books have recently taken over my inspiration of my tattoos, but I also try to find a deeper personal reason of why I'm getting this.
Yeah.
And with my oldest being autistic and non-speaking, he has to tell us things through different ways than just talking like everyone else. And he finds so much joy and his peace in the water. And so the fountain just really kind of made me think of him in a sense. And
I love it.
Yeah, so it may not make the most sense to everyone else, but in my little brain, it
doesn't
makes
have
sense.
to.
And it doesn't have to. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Is that it means something to me. And so it represents my favorite book in a series that I really enjoyed. And I tied it back to my oldest. And so, yeah. So people, I think, are sometimes shocked that Killswitch is my favorite and Damon Torrance is a top 10 book boyfriend, but that man has a tortured past and he redeems himself, and I'll love him dearly for it. So I'm excited for you to go on this. That is a great question.
Or will this be an Officer Danner situation?
Do you think that your favorite's not gonna be? I don't think it's gonna be Killswitch. I think you're probably gonna like the last one the most, yes. And you're probably gonna love Emery. And I'm just like, I can't stand her, but you're probably gonna be like, she's the best, and that's just
every book I can't stand. Brittany's like, well, for the most part. Brittany's like, that's pretty good, and it's always the same.
Always happens.
It always happens. I'll be like, I can't stand that bitch, and you're like, she's my favorite, and I'll be like, well, she's my favorite, and then you're like, no.
I do. You're probably yeah. And it's nothing against Will. I love him. I think he deserved better.
Right there, I know from that sentence that Emery, watch her be my girl.
Be like, I'm gonna ride or die for Emery, and I'd be like, great, ride her off of a cliff, okay?
Don't make me bring someone into this.
Hey, you're the one who started this. I'm just picking it up and running with it, okay?
So, sharks. I would like to talk about sharks.
Absolutely. This is on my TBR. I haven't read this one yet.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be on a speedboat with a man who draws blood and shoves your head into the ocean water while he fucks you from behind because there's sharks all around?
It's never crossed my mind. I gotta be honest.
Let me tell you, it's fucking hot. I was like, okay, so first of all, in case you're confused, Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton is so good, number one. This is full-blown romantic suspense. It's so good. This is my only H.D. Carlton book. I'm scared, folks, okay? I'm sensitive.
You technically do own 2 more.
I know, but I've never read them because I'm scared. And I'm sensitive.
But
I'm
you
calling
own
myself
them, so
out.
you're like
I do own them.
Partway there.
What are those called? What's the series called?
And Mouse Duet.
Cat
Haunting and
Mouse
Hunting
Duet.
Adeline.
I knew it was Haunting and Hunting. I just didn't know what the series was called. Anyway, Does It Hurt is about Enzo Vitale. I think I'm saying that right. He is like a shark expert. He studies them and he's really famous for it. And so he has like a boat and his business or whatever, and he like goes out a lot, like just on his own and to do his job, obviously. And I can't remember what the girl's name is. Like, that's terrible, but I really can't remember. But she's like a little thief, a thiefy thief. And she realizes rather quickly that while she's in town that he's rich, he's hot, number one. He's like a big Cassian looking type guy.
Ooh.
And wears like a backwards ball cap.
I don't really need to hear more. I'll read it. Okay.
And like, like I hate to stereotype, but like, like a hot fisherman type Florida guy, like that's literally him. So she learns rather quickly, like, oh, next target. And so she like gets away and steals his wallet, and then he realizes and invites her on the boat. And then like, when they're in the middle of the sea, he's like, you're a fucking stupid ass bitch. Like, you stole from me. Like, you're crazy. And so they get in a fight or whatever. And I can't remember what he does exactly. I don't think he bites her. Like, I know they're not fantasy, but like he cuts her or something so that she is bleeding, so that he's fucking her while he's literally drowning her. It's a type of breath play. That's what the kink is, though.
Okay.
Was that... like, I know it's still crazy, but that's what they're emulating is the breath play, because he says, like, I was in control the whole time, I was watching, like, I'm a shark expert, like, I know what's going on. But then, like, a crazy storm comes in, which is terrible with the weather going on right now. I apologize, that was not planned on purpose. And they shipwreck, and they end up on this little island that has a lighthouse, and when they get there, like, that's where it literally goes full-blown suspense almost. Like, there is romance, but they fucking hate each other. Straight up, but they are 100% stranded, and they found this lighthouse, and a creepy old motherfucker lives there, and I mean like creepy. In a book, to be absolutely creeped out, that doesn't happen that often for me, and this guy is creepy. Like, he's weird. There's like weird things going on, like you don't know if it's paranormal, you don't know if it's like, if it's just, you don't know. Like, the book almost makes you feel like you're going crazy with them while they're like in the lighthouse and like trying to make sure this guy doesn't kill them, because he has weird rules, like can't go outside at this hour and can't go here and can't do this. But then they like, a lot of other stuff happens. I almost ruined it, but it's really good. Like, really good. I haven't ever reread it, but I think honestly I just talked myself into doing it. It's really good, and it's heavy on the suspense, but in a really good way, as in like, it's not a thriller, but I definitely could see where people were like more thriller.
But it
Does that
still
make
has a HEA, right?
They're still an HEA.
Okay.
They do there is more romance, but I would definitely say I don't read very many romantic thrillers. I don't even know if that's technically a true category, but you could almost put it into that. Because once they shipwreck, I mean, I remember reading it is this paranormal? Is there other things going on on this weird island? And it's so good. It's like a mind fuck. But it is romance. And it does have an HEA. It's really good. I literally just talked myself into rereading it, and it's on audio. So when I tune in next week and I tell you guys that I read it again, there you go. But I would never recommend something that wasn't romance. I mean, that's not true, but on a romance podcast,
yes.
It's truly romance. And that sex scene is really hot. There's more sex than just that. But I literally will be like, so have you ever read a shark sex scene? I love to go into a topic you ever read a sex scene with sharks?
I have one for you.
And honestly, I feel kind of silly. I mean, not silly, but my brain is everywhere. But I low-key forgot about the book in its entirety. It was a 5-star forget, until we were planning the episode, and I was thinking, and I was like, that is a great, I was like, that is actually such a good book. Fully love it. A great book, because I know there are a couple people started listening that don't read romance that much yet at all. And they do read thriller. That's a perfect book. I know it's a little intense with sex in the beginning, just because that's a crazy scene. But as far as you reading not much romance and wanting to get into it, a great gap. Don't read anything else from her until you're more comfortable. But as far as just oh, I really like thriller, I want to read more romance though, perfect book.
How do you feel about arms being involved in this?
Oh, that's not this book. That's the other book.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right. I will preface and give the warning though, don't read anything else by HD until you've done your research. Definitely check the trigger warnings. It's not a book that you get to skip that on, and you make sure, because it goes 100%. That series isn't thriller. That is dark. I almost said fucked up, which it is fucked up, but not in not you're fucked up for reading it. Just
no.
That's that is Criminal Minds, and we are over here, in CSI Miami. Now you know what I mean. We are not in the same boat of fucked upness when we're, but so good on audio, and I did the audio. That's just a shelf trophy. So good. Nice. I think honestly, the audio could probably be in my top 10 audiobooks. Just because I do remember being this is great. And I don't favor audiobooks that often, but when I was looking, that was amongst ones that were in my favorite list.
That says a lot then. Yeah.
Yeah. I was happy. And I was proud. I was wow, you kind of just you talked yourself into a book you already read.
Love it. Love it.
What you got? I only got one more, just so you're aware. I do have a TBR. Like I said, I don't read that many. So if you need to go forth with a couple, you do.
I have another series. But real quick about Devil's Night that I forgot to mention is that Devil's Night is the night before Halloween. So it is a actual an event, and that's when it happens. But then the next series that I have lined up next to me, if you're watching this, I don't know if you can see that far over, is Madison Kate by Tate James. And that series, actually, that catalyst, the starter of that night is on Halloween night. Where
it is.
Yeah. Have you read this one?
I think I've read the first one because I didn't know. I didn't.
It was Why Choose?
Yes, but my mom loves this series. She absolutely loves it and tells everybody, have you read the Madison Kate series? She recommends it to everybody.
Yes, so I love it. It kicks off on Halloween night when everything goes down with them. They're at a concert in an old, abandoned old amusement park place. Yeah. And so that's kind of where they run into each other, and what happens and transpires to...
Are there clowns? I can't remember.
I don't think there's clowns. Or if there are, it's very briefly, because I don't do clowns, as we just talked earlier about.
I don't do them either.
I don't think there are clowns, though, in...
That's good. I mean, it's not it's the end of the world, but
they're wearing masks, but it's not.
That's
clowns.
different. That's different. Yeah.
Do I say anything of what actually happens, or am I spoiling this for people?
Yeah. Nope. Go ahead. Here's your spoiler alert. If you want to read it, if it's on your TBR and you don't want to know anything about it, skip ahead. We will time mark below.
There are 4 books in it, and there is a novella afterwards. Which actually, before I get into it, the novella. I still haven't read the novella, is Vault, but we did get this when we were together at the last chapter in Chicago. So
the last chapter is so cute.
So cute. So cute. So I was happy that I was able to pick this up while we were there, and I honestly didn't even know about it until I recognized the spine, and I was like, that looks like those Madison Kate books that I had. I was like, oh my God, there's a novella. So
are those the special edition, or are those the discrete cover?
These are the discrete cover, and they're no longer in print because it got picked up for Trad Publishing. So
nice.
I'm actually really glad that I have these. Yeah, but I need to read this. I'm not going into it because I haven't read it, but there's another, I don't even know what the series name is, but the first book is Hades, or maybe that's the series name.
My mom likes that one as well.
But you need to read this before you go into that, I want to say, is what I was told. So that is another one that I think would work for, like, spooky season, too, I'd say. But, so Hate is the first book in the Madison Kate series, and it starts our introduction to Madison Kate and the three guys, which are Steele, Cody, and Archer. Archer is my favorite. He is the broodiest, the asshole of the group.
You know how much I love an asshole. Yes. I love a good asshole.
We love him. But he ends up married to Madison Kate, and she finds out and is not happy about it. And it is just quite the trip along these 4 books of how these 4 people come to be in a relationship together. Obviously, she's married technically legally to one of them, but they are all 4 together.
What a sleigh.
There are no swords crossing in this one. The guys are only with her, but they all are there together. But there's suspense to this as well. Obviously, I think that should maybe be obvious by the series and the time frame, but it's so good. It's been a while since I've read it.
Doesn't she ride a motorcycle or a street bike? Am I thinking of a different series? She has pink hair.
She has pink hair, yes. But no, I don't.
I might be thinking of a different series with the street bike, but I do remember the pink hair.
Yes, she's got the pink hair.
The character covers I liked, honestly. At least the one where she's like flipping her hair over her head on one of the books.
But this is one of those where they're younger and they're in college, but I don't really feel like they're young and in college. Like, they just seem like they're older and more mature. But there's interwoven, like, you can't read these out of order. You got to read them. It's a interconnected series. You have to start at the beginning and read them through to the end. But I enjoyed it. It's one of those Why Chooses that I just feel is like a staple. If you're a Why Choose girly, that Madison Kate is one of those series that you'll just love. So, did you have more, or was that your last one? And I need to keep going.
I have one more.
Okay.
I love this book. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, but it is. If you know me, it's not a shock. But Until I Get You by Claire Contreras is literally one of the best books I have ever read of all time. And I don't say that lightly. That's over all categories of reading life.
It is a bold statement.
I know. It is so freaking good. I like don't want to spoil it, but this was the very first book that I ever got the Who Did It Wrong on.
Ooh.
If you guys haven't listened to the first couple episodes of the Smut Daddy podcast, number 1, what are you doing? You should go back and watch and listen and tell us all your thoughts. But I get the whodunit right a lot. I would say like 97% accuracy rate over here. It's the ladies with C's that are taking me down. But this was the first book ever that I got the whodunit wrong on. And it's more perfect of a whodunit and makes the most absolute perfect sense, more than Frank's Wife. Like, truly. That's a big statement, I know.
That is a really big statement.
Which is why I literally immediately, I was sitting here like this, reading it, and I closed it, and then I reopened it immediately because I wanted to know, like, what do you mean? Like, it made perfect sense, but I was like, it's so good. It's split into 2 parts, which I know you're going to be like, what the fuck? Stay with me. The only author I've ever seen truly split a book into 2 parts that was made perfect sense is this book. They're like in college when they first start out or when they first meet. and he plays hockey. You know, she's a loner, sad, emo girl. She's literally so Libby coded, it's not even fucking funny. But she's like, her friend drives her to a party. She's standing along the wall, like, and she's in oversized, baggy clothing. And, you know, he's a hot hockey player and everyone should know him because they just won the big game. And he's like, what are you doing? This is like my part of the wall. I shit you not. That is like what he first says to her. And she looks at him and is like, you're a dumbass. Exactly. Ding, ding, ding. A love match made in heaven. It's so good. So like they hit it off. It's a little bit of a slow burn, I won't lie, which is also weird because I did not like slow burns in this time of my reading journey. So they start becoming closer, like they are breaking down the walls. And then you
forming a friendship first.
A friendship, but it is one of those things. It's honestly funny. It's like a Mr. Smut Daddy and I situation where it's like we are clearly dating, but we kept saying like, oh, we're just friends. It was a friendship built, but they were clearly dating.
They just didn't want a label on it.
Yeah, because labels are lame, especially for these two, you know? So they get closer. She tells him finally, like, I have a stalker. And she never says who it is. I have a stalker. Bad things happen to me. Terrible things happen to her. Let's get that right out the bat. You better check trigger warnings, friends. Terrible things happen to her. So she tells him, and then they're like, okay, like they get closer, they're official, you know, she's finally wearing his jersey. Life is great. That's not good for the stalker. Tragedy fucking strikes hard, as in she ends up in the hospital. He ends up in the hospital, misses their like big game, the hockey final, all of it. And she leaves and never sees him again because she's like, I know what's going to happen next. So you cut to like 5 years later, and this is where it's in a completely different part of their life now. Flawless. Like I literally wouldn't change one thing about it. I know what you're thinking, but I wouldn't. It is absolutely perfect and integral to the story. So you jump to them. He's like, whatever, life is great. It's not great, but he's like doing his thing. She's living her life. Only like 2 people know, not even her family knows where she is. Only her best friend and someone else. And she looks up one day and sees on the television, you know, retired. Youngest, best NHL player ever, like retires. And then like she looks over and he's like, fucking found you. Finds her. Bitch. Oh my God. So he has his life and like, but not by his choice because he doesn't want it, but he like does it and like pleases her. And then he's like, bitch, I found you. Like, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now that we're full grown adults? And like, I did what you wanted and I still chose you. Can you see why it's like the best thing ever for me? I won't lie. You don't find out till pretty late into the book who it is, but that's what makes it so great because it's still happening. It's so good. I know that was all over the place, but I didn't want to spoil it for you in the ways where I wanted to.
Thank you so much.
But it really is so good. And I feel like when people are like, what's like a spooky book that is clearly romance, but like you don't know, like you have to read it almost in one sitting because you're like, I think I know. And then you're like, God damn it. Like rolls it out for you. It's so good because she writes it in a way where you don't know. Like you don't even know from her point of view until a chapter where it all makes sense. And I remember being like, are you actually shitting me with the one little line? It's always one line. And then like 2 lines later, she says it. And I was like, that's great. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough. And I know people are like, the second one's better, in my opinion. Right?
So you like this one better, right?
Yes, this is a full standalone. And we then waited years for book 2, which we didn't ever think was coming. She literally said, this is a standalone. Yes, we meet his teammates and other people, but we were like, it's fine. It is a standalone. So then when years later, she was like, book 2's coming. It was good, but it's a 5-star forget for me. I can't remember shit about that book because that one perfection. Is in your brain. Everyone should read this book. And I really mean that. All romance readers, except I guess if you don't like if you read closed door, obviously this is open door romance. But if you read romance books and you're like, I want to try something, this is it. It is so good. Like, it's so good. I know I'm heavy in romance, like the romantic suspense element of life, more in the small town, but I will recommend it always. And I reread it every year. When you go to my Goodreads,
how many
it'll
times
be like,
has it been?
Oh, it's like,
are there?
Probably like 6 or 7 because, and then this book is like my original. So it's like dinged up and there's like tear stains and it's only emotional, like one little part. I honestly don't think it's a very emotion heavy Like, there are
Okay.
triggers, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like it's like I'm sitting there bawling. Like, you're
Triggers
sitting there.
are
'cause
fine. Emotions are not.
it's just a little bit of her backstory, but I just think I resonated. You know what I mean? Truly, like, that is a 5-star book. That is, without a doubt, in my top 3 favorite books of all times.
That is
I'll always
high
read it.
praise.
I know. I am like excited because I do want to read Does It Hurt Again, but I'm like, I reread it every year. I'm like, we're almost getting time for me to reread. Oh, I reread that every year, and then I rewatched True Blood. Eric Northman's down there for our visual. But yeah, that's what I got. I really don't have too many more. This is the special edition of the new Lights Out book by Nevessa Allen, which I've heard great things about. It's like another dark comedy
I've heard
romance.
great things about the
I've heard it's
audiobook
better than
specifically.
it's like Butcher and Blackbird,
I
but
was just
I've
gonna
heard
say,
it's
Butcher
I've
and
heard it's
Blackbird
better.
was another one that I didn't grab, but I do think of like kind
Yeah.
of spooky
I did
season would be
too.
a good time to do it if you haven't. It's a good
I did too.
dark
I'd
rom-com. That's how I kind
Yeah,
of try
definitely
to describe
dark
it.
rom-com is how I describe it. But I honestly didn't put it on my list solely for the fact that I soft DNF book 2, and I without a doubt won't pick up book 3. It's solely not the author's fault, but I don't do clowns. I'm not even
Yeah.
in like it's hot. I don't want to read clowns. I don't think that's sexy for me. Like, you're never going to be like, this is hot for me when I'm reading it. So like, that's why I just
And I
didn't put
haven't
her in there.
even
'Cause
tried Leather and Lark yet. I have it.
Book
I
1 is
pre-ordered
great.
it, but I just
Butcher
haven't
and Blackbird,
opened it.
great.
I've heard
Secret
very
Tattoo.
mixed. Yeah. Yes. Secret Tattoo.
You know, she's a badass. Like,
She
truly,
is
she's a badass.
110%. Yes.
Serial killer games, if you will. Like, it truly is so good, but I don't know. It just, like, it doesn't stick out to me enough. Like, I'm more excited for this book and the hype for this than I even was, I feel like, for Butcher and Blackbird, which
Saying something.
is high praise, like, then for
Yeah.
that too. I don't know what her handle is because we talked to her in the everyday life. What Rebecca reads, she's the one that's like, you know, was talking to
Yes.
me, and I've seen her post it, and she was talking about the audio. So I'm excited. I didn't even know what our Probably Smut box was going to be. When it was that special edition, I was like, gorgeous. Number one, I don't know if you guys, I know not all of you watch, but it's kind of like the Lila Sage drawing type covers. You know what I mean? Like what are they? Comic book type sketch, which makes sense for Halloween.
I'd say that's a graphic novel type.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
They did a great job with it. So I'm really excited. Before we hit record, I was telling Sister Britt I bought the audio as well. That will be a full immersion experience for me. But besides that, there's not too much else on my TBR besides what we've already talked about. I want to do Devil's Night. I'm doing Dark Verse. I'm going to do my reread of Until I Get You. We're all doing Kingmakers over the whole month. So, yeah. Oh, so we'll just talk. That would be a good time. So, yeah, if you're following along, this week we are on book 2 of Kingmakers. If you are behind or anything, you can head over to the podcast Instagram page, and we will have everything linked for the templates to follow along in a highlight bubble.
So, have quite a few, hopefuls on my TBR as well, which I do want to finish. The Dark Verse, I have the last 2 to go, and then the Syndicator, the last one comes out the end of October. So I have time
on
to get,
Halloween, right? Or the day before,
or the
maybe?
Day before?
Might be the day before.
I think it's the day before. It's the 29th now popping into my head.
I
don't
know.
know. It's the end of October. So I am excited to get current and ready for that to end, and I feel kind of guilty that I'm like one of these people that is raving now about this series, and I have not had to wait the years that everyone else has to. So I guess strategic on my part. Yeah, I'm like, well,
I always am feeling like that when, I mean, totally random, and we'll talk about it next week some more. But that's how I feel when we were reading Tog. I was like, I didn't have to wait for shit. It was just done, completed. We just went on. It was a straight path for us.
Yes. And one of the other series that I'm really hopeful to get to this October, because I initially had it planned for last October, and I've owned it on my Kindle since then, is the Lord series by Chantal Tessier. Is that how you say her last name?
Yep, The Ritual.
The Ritual, The Sinner.
Yep, so good. Those are good.
Those
are, I consider those a dark bully college. I mean, there are secret society, obviously, but I would say that though, for a Libby brain, those fall under a little bit of a bully romance.
Oh,
which,
I'm excited
which
for
you
it.
know, which you know means
Yeah.
I loved them. I ate that
Yes.
up, and I'm pretty sure I liked book 1 a lot, like if not the most. I really liked book 1, so I hope that you do too. I don't
I'm
think there's any like
excited for
crazy
it.
fuckery. It's honestly just craziness in a good way. Like I think you start
Honestly,
like in
I'm
chapter
here for
in
the
chapter
crazy.
1. I'm pretty sure you're like, oh, we're in it. We're not even building up. You better just be in it.
I'm
They're
ready
good.
to
You're-
be in it, so I am looking forward to that. But then I do have 3 books that, man, it's going to be, if I can get to them, it's going to be a Sophie heavy month. But
It's going to be awesome though, because I want to do these with you.
I've owned these for a bit. I ordered the There Is No Devil, There Are No Saints duet when it got picked up by Bloom, so I got these new books, and I've had them for a whole year now. So I'm looking forward to
I
getting
got my
to those.
copies from the last chapter when we went.
Yeah, okay. And
I
then
want to do
got-
those with you.
I do too. Yeah, I want to buddy read those because I think, aren't those kind of similar to like the Dexter vibes where they're
Yep.
serial unalivers? Yeah, so I'm excited about that duet, and then also I got this at the last chapter. We should just like sponsored by the last chapter
Hi,
here.
hi,
Hey,
Last Chapter
ladies.
Bookshop. We love you. We can't stop giving you our money. Oh
and
yeah, Grimstone. I forgot.
Grimstone,
I
yeah.
think I got that with you.
Yes, now it just got re-released because it got picked up for traditional publishing.
it?
So like, yeah, I had people that were getting ARCs of it, and I was like, "What is happening?" I was like, "Oh, it's because
You're
of
like,
the."
wait,
Hold on,
is it
I
keeping
own
the
that
same
book.
cover? Or did it get a new
changed-
cover?
It got a new cover, but it didn't deviate too far away. Like it's
It kind of matches the vibes of Kingmakers, right?
It
They
does,
kind of all have
yes.
the same vibe now.
Yep, and there's a book 2 coming out, and I don't even know what it's called, and I'm sorry that I'm being unprepared for that, but it does kind of match the new Kingmakers vibe that it has going on. But I'm looking forward to Grimstone. Your therapist reads Smut. She just read it, and
did she like
enjoyed
it?
Yes, she did. Yeah, I'm forgetting what her true therapist take was on it. So if you don't follow Rachel at Your Therapist Reads Smut,
If you
I highly
read this,
recommend.
please get mental help if you think it's hot.
Yeah, so 3 books I'm really hoping to get to this October as well. But it all just depends on how the rest of these arcs go.
Yeah.
Arc will be over soon, you guys.
I'm like,
And
if
it's
you're an
self-imposed.
author.
I have no one else to blame but myself. I understand
No.
this.
I'm gonna blame the authors.
Okay,
let's have
sure.
let's have a heart to heart with the authors for a minute. Authors, why must you all release a book in October every year?
Yeah.
Why? I
Last
love
October
you.
was rough as well.
I
You are
want to
correct.
support you. You are all wonderful. Why October? What's going on in November that you're so afraid of?
I mean, I'm not gonna
I-
lie. I'm pumped because November's gonna be slow and calm.
But imagine if we didn't have to hate ourselves because we love authors too fiercely in October and we just had a even number for both. Instead, these fucking authors were like, last one out. Whoever's last to drop an arc in October loses. I'm like, what the fuck? We love you, but also there's no content probably coming from this Smut Daddy on her personal page in the month of October.
Yep, mine will
'Cause
be
what?
sparse as well.
Like, what is going on?
I'll just be
I'm
lucky
here
if
for
I get
it.
them all read to have time to make an edit. Who knows? Who knows? Oh,
But
I don't. It just popped into my head about another arc that literally just hit my Kindle and probably hit yours as well. But you've already beta read it. Is Ready or Not by Jenn Plumber.
hey,
I am.
You guys are in for
so
a
excited for
treat.
it.
a treat,
Every
treat,
single
treat.
trope, micro trope is done. Check, check, check,
Check,
check,
check,
check.
check, check.
Love
Yeah.
them all. So I'm excited.
You all are
for
in
that.
for a treat.
That
I was
comes out
gonna
on the
say some-
15th.
I was going to say, I'm not 100% sure what date, but I'm glad you know. The 15th. Honestly, the 15th
A lot
is-
comes out on the 15th.
and the 24th, those are days that are making my eye twitch. This is a bold statement, but I'm going to give it to her. She's my Lord and Savior. But the 15th is when Just Between Us by Lena Hendricks comes out. So, and a little birdie told
Royal.
me she's going to be on the podcast that day. So, yeah. So stay tuned for our Lord and Savior and Smut on the 15th, Miss Lena Hendricks and
I am
Royal.
excited. Oh, Royal is going to be my man. Oh,
He's going to be good, but he is not my man.
Intrigued by him from his first introduction during the Sullivans.
With Emma?
Yeah.
At the auction and One
auction.
Chance. She won him at one of the things. She won a tattoo from him at one of... Don't question me.
I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
He's awesome. I know he's going to be good. He's not my man.
He's not your man.
Clearly.
Duh.
But I am very excited for him. He could potentially... He has all the potential to be number 2. He could technically outdo Whip. Bitch, you're joking. You think that man's going to do anything more than JP King? What are you doing? I can't wait to bombard her with questions.
You're gonna have
I'm
your
excited.
notebook ready to go.
She's gonna be like, "We got
You don't have
ladies."
a notebook. You do your iPad, but you have those questions.
She's gonna be
ready
like,
to go.
"We have to cut."
Time's up, you guys. We're done here.
So there are fun things coming. Lots of other author interviews planned. We are booked and busy. I have a full schedule up until the end of January of 2025. So I hope you guys are ready for all the fun that we have coming, because we are. We're ready. Damn, your TBRs are gonna hate us.
They are. I know. That's like one of the favorite things to see in my DMs is like, you're adding more to my TBR.
You're like, I added 12 books today. Not my problem.
I feel like I should say I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry at all.
I always say sorry, and I send the sunglasses guy with it. Like, sorry, but I don't give a fuck, actually, because you're welcome. They're great books.
They
So
are
good.
good.
I think that's everything. I think I got on
that
the...
was all that I had for...
My iPad died, so I'm like, you tell me. Yeah, I'm like, you tell me what's going on.
That was kind of it.
That's what I thought. I knew we were getting close to the end, so.
Yep, we're ready to wrap up. Did you have any final thoughts or book recs or anything for spooky season there, Father Lib?
I don't think so. Everything else that I have to talk about is fantasy. From fantasy light to heavy. Like, you better get a frickin' encyclopedia out to figure out what kind of hierarchy they're describing. I'm excited for next week. I know you're
excited about maps, and I'm like the most basic fantasy romance reader out there that could be. So, but I think a lot of people are going to be in my boat as well. And so
I'm excited
space for
because
everyone.
Yeah,
I will be a supporting role next week while Father Lib does her thing.
I feel like I have a lot of recs that I don't see a lot on Instagram and stuff, but they are good and deserve the love. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be a good episode and a good chapter. Sorry, my apologies. Good chapter.
I know. Whenever I'm typing stuff up, I always almost type episode first. I'm like, oh god damn it. We are books. We are a chapter.
Mr. Footnote did comment that he thought that was clever and he liked that, and I was like, that's all Lib. So I will pass that along.
Praise from Mr. Footnote is
Yes.
I love it.
Oh, you guys so much for continuing to tune into us week after week. We love having you. Till then, I am Sister Britt.
And I am the Smut Daddy, aka Father Lib. And we will see you next time. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessing, guys. Bye.
Spooky season.